Hi, if you've not already checked it out, check out the video which has got this thumbnail on media disinformation. My previous video, which was this video on media disinformation, I was going to go into answering a few of the comments made on my BBC expose videos. So this is what this video is going to be about, is answering some of those comments. So we'll start off with the BBC Incompetent, Corrupt or Racist Part 1. Now the point of me making the videos was to expose that the BBC aren't, they don't tell the truth about the sport. They lie about what's possible. They've never exposed the truth about the corruption that took place in Abu Dhabi. The manner in which they present is there just to try and hype things up rather than have any real sense of realism. And the way that they talk about certain drivers hypes some up and downplays others. Now, why? That's not good enough. Really isn't good enough. And there are reasons why they do that. So we have to identify them reasons and we have to campaign for change. Because why should we accept that? We all have to, in the UK, we have to pay a license fee for this broadcaster. And that's the crap that they feed us. That's not good enough. Okay? We demand the truth, we demand authenticity, and we demand fairness. We demand that there is no bias in what they present. If there's any bias, you would expect them to be a little bit patriotic in that we are a British broadcasting company, we are British, so therefore if there's any sort of bias, it would be favouring the British competitor. Okay, that tends to be normal, but in doing so, actually acknowledge greatness. So when it comes to tennis, for example, by all means, want Andy Murray to succeed, but recognise that Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic are all better than him. You know, this is the world that we live in, and acknowledge greatness. There's no harm in rooting for your countrymen, but do so with the acknowledgement of the capabilities of others. Right, so anyway, on to the comments. So the top one here, I'm not going to go through all the names because I can't even, some of these just random letters and numbers for certain ones. Anyway, the top one says, I'm learning so much about F1 from you. Thank you. Thank you for the comment. Sadly, it shouldn't be me where you are learning things from. You should be getting this education from where you watch the sport. Sky Sports F1, which is the main broadcaster, or the BBC, which is another mainstream broadcaster, start asking the question, why is it that you are not getting authentic information from those broadcasters? The BBC certainly aren't capable of breaking things down in the way that I broke it down across them 4 videos, and Sky Sports are lying to you too. So why is it that broadcasters are lying to people that are watching a sport? That is damaging, that is dangerous, that should be illegal. Okay? You're fraudulently misinforming people. That's disgusting. So why is it that people are learning more about the sport from this channel than they are from the main sports broadcaster? That's corrupt. Something is going on there that's wrong. And as I say, no doubt we're going to get the Nelsons in the comment section that are going to go, ha ha, ha ha, this guy thinks he's giving people more information than Sky Sports F1. Right, because you don't realise you're being lied to. Okay, I can tell you till I'm blue in the face that you're being lied to by those broadcasters, but you won't accept it. You won't accept it from me, but there's not a lot I can do about that other than just keep telling what's really happening. Anyway, Umbrella, thank you for your message. So we know about the trolls. Okay. Um, thanks for your work. Okay, look at this one then. It isn't healthy to live with this type of anger about sports commentators. Okay. So you want to project that I'm not healthy for having anger at being subject to disinformation. I'm angry that there are people that are presented in a role to educate people. I'm angry that they are lying to people and miseducating. That is extremely damaging. If you actually knew the damage caused by propaganda, miseducation, conditioning people's minds to believe certain things which enable corrupt acts, then perhaps you would realise why that I am so outraged by what we are seeing. Go and do your history, look into history, look at what happens when people's minds are conditioned to believe falsehoods. When you condition people to believe things that are wrong for somebody's corrupt agenda, bad things happen. And if you don't understand that, and if you don't understand how that extrapolates with what is going on in this world at the moment, this isn't just Formula One. Formula One is just being used as an example on this channel at the moment, okay? And the hope that actually it just wakes a lot of people up. And the hope, yes, we can make a difference. But that difference, when you make a difference, then the whole globe realizes, oh, what's the news in Formula One? Oh, the news in Formula One is they've finally it's been overturned that Lewis Hamilton's the 2021 champion. Oh, what's gone on there then? And that's when the whole world finds out that the media has lied to the entire world, and that's when you make the difference. That's when you make the difference, is when you wake people up. It's not necessarily about Formula One, because there's only a fraction of the population of the world that's interested in Formula One. But when the world realizes that the global media lied to the world to tell the world something about the situation, it was entirely wrong, maybe it wakes everybody up to the fact that they're being lied to about so many things in life. Okay, so that is why I am so angry. That is why I'm so angry. It goes on to say, same commenter, also, you realise that Lewis Hamilton doesn't do interviews either on the grid or in the drivers' parade, right? That includes Sky, Channel 4 and the BBC. That might explain why there is a focus on Norris, simply as he talks to the media in ways that Hamilton doesn't. John, you need to ask why. Why is it that Lewis Hamilton is not interested in talking to the media? Could it be that Lewis Hamilton sees through what the media is? Lewis Hamilton sees the lies that the media presents, sees the hype that the media presents, sees the manner in which the media talk about him. If you saw all that, would you want to play their game? The trouble is we have people that are incapable of asking the simple question, why? Because behind everything, you need to have the mind that says, why? Why would they be doing that? Because there is an agenda behind so many things. What are they achieving by doing that? And you need to keep asking, why? 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 Could it be this? Could it be that? Could it be? Start putting the picture together. Who benefits? There's an agenda. It benefits somebody. This world has. Why would you buy the sport of Formula One? Well, you do it to make money. How are you going to make money? Well, we have to have a strategy. We have to do lots of different things to make money. What is best going to make that money? That's the underlying agenda of Formula One. Why are they not telling the truth? Does it engage more people by doing it the way that they're doing it? Is that okay? Is that right? Look elsewhere in the world. Why are we told certain things supposedly being the way they are? Whose agenda does that fulfill? Start asking questions why. Once you start asking the questions why and tracking it back, who benefits, then you may start to realize why you're being told those things being the way they are. When you can highlight deficiencies in those arguments and go, well, there's better ways of doing it like that. That's not how it is. Shouldn't be like that. But you're conditioned with a narrative. This will scare some of you. Some people will be listening to this and go, oh, this guy's just a conspiracy theorist. He's making up all these kind of wild and wonderful ideas. He's going mental. Right, okay. Thanks for that. Thanks. No, again, I appreciate the messages of support. And there's so many of us that are like-minded. We do see things how they are, and it's just trying to seek justice and try to get it out to more people to enable them to see what is truly going on, because this world will change and more people are waking up to what is really going on in this world, and the more of us that can expose things, the better. So next one down, Peter Porker, great name. If you really want to make a series about BBC corruption, making use of the BBC Checkered Flag podcast, you have to go back to 2021. Peter, I've listened to so much. I used to read Andrew Benson's comments, his articles and things, and I was disgusted by a lot of the stuff. You go on to say that you think Andrew Benson was fair enough. I can evidence counter that. But totally agree with what you're saying about their podcast. Totally agree that, it's just a hype show. It's just like 3 or 4 people sat round like, hey, yeah, and we're all having a great time, aren't we? And yeah, and isn't it so fun? And yeah, and is it little circle jerk? Okay, that nothing of any value is coming out of it. Nobody is talking about it from the perspective of, when you play sport, when you are involved in competition, there's so many different facets, whether that be physical facets, psychological facets, reasons for why things are the way that they are, what enables enhanced performances, and all these sorts of things. You don't get anybody talking about it like that. We had Jenny Gow on what I'm analysing, saying things like, oh, I don't think he tried hard enough. Is that the best analysis you can give? Is that the best perspective? You don't think that a driver was trying hard enough, right? You think that's an explanation as to what went on that track at that given moment. Oh, I don't think the driver tried hard enough. That's the level of commentary and insight that the BBC has given us. Oh yeah, he could have tried a little bit harder there. Piss off, So you're getting paid to try and present what's going on in a sport by saying that. It's ridiculous. And what's more ridiculous is when they propose scenarios which aren't even possible. Oh, that car that has crashed out due to hydraulic failure, can they put that on the back of a truck, get it back to the pit so it can take the restart? No. Quite simply, no. Don't propose it. You're being paid to commentate on the sport, okay? Don't lie to people and propose things that aren't possible. Oh, we're now going to have a restart. Will the driver start in 2nd or 6th? Wow, what's going to happen? Right, if you don't know that, you're not good enough to commentate on the sport. These are the sorts of, oh, this driver's done fantastically well. The other driver's done virtually the same thing. Oh yeah, he got quite lucky. right, these are the way you're talking about it, BBC. This is the way you're talking about it. It's not okay. Really isn't okay. Where are we going down here? I thought it was boring and unexciting for one driver to and one team to win all the time. What changed? What happened? Yeah, this is what we were told. We were told it was boring, but now we're told it's amazing. We're told anything can happen. We are told that anything can happen. You know, anything can happen. You know, each one of these teams can win. You know, because Red Bull can win, 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 Red Bull can. Anything can happen. See, there's literally, because that's another word they like. Literally, anything can happen. Entertainment, right? So they got bored when somebody they didn't want to win was winning. But it's not boring when someone they want to win is winning, right? Okay. Saying what we know and what's going on, they must be squirming. The thing is, they're not squirming, unfortunately. The reason that they are not squirming is what they do. They just suppress things and they ignore it. If not enough people hear what's true, they don't care. It doesn't impact them. You know, so what? There's 1,000 people that realise they're full of shit. They don't care. Because there's 10 million that think that they're authentic, that will keep clicking, that will keep spending their money. So, you know, that's all that matters to them. And as long as they can keep the dissenting voices, as long as they can keep those that are exposing what's really going on, you know, keep them pretty suppressed and don't allow them to attract a big enough audience to actually demonstrate to enough people, to make enough people see what's really going on, they'll keep doing what they're doing. Here we go. We've got Yeri. Yeri now. Okay. I think do we let's start with this one here. Okay. While our traumatized psychopath patient is melting down over. Right. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to go into all these. Okay. Yeri, our traumatized psychopath patient. Now, Yeri, you've commented on. You subscribe to the channel. You've then comment repeatedly on every video. You and Dolph Lundgren, you know, you accuse somebody of having a psychological issue, and you don't reflect on your own conduct. It's rather bizarre. You know, and all it is Yeri, you are anti Lewis Hamilton. I don't know whether it is you don't like people with darker coloured skin than you. You know, I don't know what personal issue you have. I like to try to treat every human being with initial respect until they prove otherwise. You know, you meet somebody, you encounter somebody, and you are respectful of them. And some people you resonate with and you respect more because you think they're a quality human being, irrespective of their nationality, skin colour, or anything. They just can be a decent people. You, Yeri, you're a fucking turd, 100%. But that's you. But you'll no doubt keep trolling. But I keep your comments, Yeri. All of your comments are logged on this channel. All of your negativity, your hate, which you'll say, oh, this channel is projecting hate. Because again, this is what you do. You gaslight, you project negativity that's coming from me when all I'm doing is exposing truth. But you'll project that I'm doing something wrong because this is the type of scum that you are. This is one of the tactics you think gains you credence. It doesn't, because you're a turd, right? This is what truth tellers are exposed to. And why? What's caused that? What's caused that is your fucked up belief system. But your fucked up belief system has been fueled by the fact that the mainstream media has lied to you to make you think that you are right. What damage is that? mainstream media creating conflict. The root cause of a conflict is mainstream media lying to people, making certain people believe things to be a certain way that they'll then go out, subscribe to channels, and then continually post the sorts of shit that you do, Yerry. But you won't be able to see that because that's the level of your mind. Instead, you, like the rest of them, will be in the comment section going, ha ha, ha ha, like Nelson. That's the extent of your brain. Anyway, so we've got another one. We've got, they released him from the insane asylum. Let's go, new content. So, thanks for that, useful. Forget yo. Yo, Analyzer, the all-knowing F1 guru. What will happen in Vegas? Please enlighten us. Well, you got some replies. No doubt you'll have loved that. What's going to happen in the remaining 2 races of the season? Well, let's have a consider of the empirical evidence. If we were to go on the trends of what's happened all season, what are the probabilities of Red Bull winning again and Max Verstappen winning again? I'd say that was highly likely, okay, based on evidence, because that's the best thing to go on. You know, if you've rolled a dice 6 times and it's landed on 6 each time, would you have concerns that that dice might be weighted? What is the probability of you landing on 6 each time with 6 individual rolls? You know, you could work all that through. What are the chances of that happening? Would you not in any way be concerned that there's something not fair about that dice? You know, let's not get into that. But ultimately, if I had to make a prediction, I would predict that there's a good chance that Red Bull and Max Verstappen are going to be somewhere near the front in the same way that they've pretty much cruised to victory in every other race of the season. What happened in Singapore? Well, who knows what happened in Singapore? Do I trust what happened in Singapore? No. Why don't I? Because there's nothing I do trust about this sport. How can you trust a sport when the governing body they break their own rules and then they seem to then apply penalties on an arbitrary manner? They'll sometimes penalise some, but not others, and it's always the same teams that seem to benefit. Rather bizarre, yet some people believe everything to be authentic. Now, the counter-argument is this. We're coming to the end of this season. Everything has been pretty much wrapped up. There might be a couple of places that might change in the either Drivers' Championship or Constructors' Championship, but nobody really cares. Okay? The season's virtually over. But how are we going to make sure that you get hooked for next season? How are we going to make sure viewers are going to get hooked for 2024? Oh, maybe in the last couple of races, if one of the teams looks like they're going to actually catch Red Bull, meaning for 2024, we could have a much tighter contest. That would be good, wouldn't it? Make sure that everyone gets excited for 2024. Right, Red Bull. That little button, which means we made you press for Singapore, which means your engine didn't have the same level of performance. You're pressing that this race. You're not allowed to win this race, Red Bull. You've got to pretend that for some reason your car's not suited to these circuits for some bizarre reason, or you've encountered a problem. But the other teams have made progresses. They've made sense of their upgrades, and they can now compete equally with Red Bull, even though you've been half a second per lap at every other Grand Prix faster than everybody else, and they're not even trying. But who knows? Who knows? It's speculation. Who's interested in what somebody thinks could happen, right? Because it's speculation. Let's worry about what does happen. And the evidence showed us what does happen, and that is every race of the season. Somehow Red Bull has won. Somehow Max Verstappen has won most of them without really trying. So, that's the reality of the situation. So I'm not going to be one that tells you, anything can happen. It's going to be incredible. Yerry. James, go get your mummy. I want to know what she thinks of her psychopath kid. These people subscribe to the channel to make those comments. Right, they'll go on to some. I'll try and filter out the typical ones like that, and we'll try and address the ones that are actually need addressing. The fiasco is why the new fans of the sport are so obnoxious and argumentative with their misinformation. The sport is not only corrupt, teaching these new fans that anything goes, but the experts are full of nonsense. So there you go. That's exactly what the problem is. Okay? These new fans are being taught what they're being taught, and they're being taught that with misinformation, disinformation, a pack of lies. It is what the media that is saying that is causing the problem. It's causing the conflict. It's also these individuals have got to take responsibility for their own conduct. So those people that have chosen to come into this channel and troll, they've got to take responsibility for their own conduct, which they won't do because that's the level of their minds. But they're being fueled by information that they think validates their opinion, but that information is lies. That's the problem. Okay. Another decent comment from Peter Porker. Didn't realise he's the only one who notices the difference. I can go back through, and I've had to go back through a lot of the races, and I detached from Formula One for a period of time because I was bored by it, and I've got other things going on in life, and actually didn't want to spend my money on the Sky Sports subscription. So there's quite a few seasons where I didn't watch that much Formula One. And I went back through those races to evidence certain things, and the things that I was hearing in the manner throughout the years where they are talking about certain competitors and then they talk about Lewis Hamilton. Some of the things are disgusting, and you can really pick them up, you know. And this notion of them being racist towards Lewis Hamilton, I probably didn't fully realise it. I'd not realised the manner in which they speak about Sir Lewis Hamilton and um, kind of rubbish, rubbish what really he's achieving, and really hype up everybody else. It's really noticeable when you go back through the races and hear the way that he's talked about. So yeah, this is something that has opened my eyes, and it's just not acceptable. You ask the question, well, why would they do that? Why would they single out? Because I don't see that in other sports. I don't see that. If there's an all-time great of a sport, I don't see them uh, undermine their accomplishments and, almost make out that somebody is far better than them when the evidence is there that they're not. They don't they don't talk about the genius behind what Hamilton is doing, because there's a level of genius with what Lewis Hamilton does. I don't want to go too much into that because I could talk for 20 minutes about that. But they just put it down to luck, or they put it down to his car, or they make up all sorts of shit. They called Alan Prost the professor. They made out that Prost was a genius, but no, not Lewis Hamilton. Not Lewis Hamilton. It's just because he's in a good car, or it's just because he had the rub of the green, or it's just because of why. Anyway, thanks for your work. Love the vids. Break it down. Okay, thank you. I appreciate the positive feedback. I think it's important to try to break things down in a simplistic manner as possible. When I watch stuff on YouTube, people like Dr. Jordan Peterson, absolutely incredible. I would love to be able to articulate myself like that. The guy is astounding. I can't. But part of me doesn't want to go above the heads of certain people, because there's a manner of communicating whereby you're using language which I want everybody to understand basic information. So therefore, I do try and keep things quite blunt. Not that I'm capable of expressing myself with the eloquence of some people, but I do try and keep things quite blunt because I want everybody to see the simplicity of everything, and I want everyone to just see it is simply this, okay? Because that's what everybody needs to see at all levels. And I know that I come across a certain way with it. Some will see that as being ignorant, but who knows? Who knows? The question should be, why is Crash so lucky? Look, let's be clear about Max Verstappen. He has talent. He is fast. He can consistently lap fast, um, which are things that you need, characteristics you need as a racing driver. But what you also need is a car that's capable of winning, which that Red Bull car certainly is. Nobody's questioning the legality of it. But the other thing you need to be able to do to be a top class racing driver is have Racecraft, and that is the ability to race wheel to wheel. Max Verstappen has never demonstrated that. And what I'm saying with the ability to race wheel to wheel is when you have a similar paced car to your fellow competitors, do you have the ability to beat them? How do you beat them? Well, if your car's not faster, you have to slipstream them, you have to make them make a mistake, you have to do various things such as dummy and overtake, make them defend, which then puts them offline going into the next complex of corners or next corner, which means you get a better exit, which means you can get a better top speed going down the straight, which means you can have the better chance of overtaking at the next corner. That's the sort of things we're talking about racecraft. There's a lot more to it than that, but that's what you need. Now, we don't see that with Max Verstappen. He doesn't need to have that at the moment because he's in a car that will just blitz past everything. So you don't need racecraft if you can just get onto a straight, put your foot down onto the accelerator, and your car will just blitz past the other car. That's not skill as a racing driver. The skill is being able to handle that car and still make it around the track. Fair enough, you can do that, but that's not demonstrating that you're a brilliant racing driver. All right. The times where Max Verstappen is being challenged and goes wheel to wheel, his only method of driving is to try and bully the other driver off the track, and that's illegal. What that risks is it risks accidents. Accidents at high speed result in major crashes, which are a massive safety concern, as we saw in Silverstone 2021. Cars going into the barriers at high speeds, there is a risk of serious injury. Okay, but Max Verstappen causes so many of those with his driving style, and unless the other driver backs out, that is what will happen. And most of those drivers have grown up, they've gone through the formulas, and they've learnt that. They've had their fair share of crashes. They realise the implications of driving like that. They realise it's not okay. They don't want to be involved in incidents at 150 mile an hour and smashing into tyres. So a lot of the drivers drive with that etiquette as they drive in Formula One. Not Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen was fast-tracked into Formula One as a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid, whatever he was, because Daddy was a Formula One racer as well. Wow. Right? This is the nepotistic nature of Formula One, where clearly we're going to get the best athletes, not the ones where Daddy's a billionaire or Daddy used to do it himself. We're clearly getting the cream of the crop in terms of the world's best drivers, aren't we? But Max Verstappen was fast-tracked into Formula One, and so didn't really have to go through that same level of learning curve that all the other drivers have tended to go through. Now, people will say, oh, no, he did this formula, he did that formula, he did the other. Okay, he did a few, all right, but he crashes. The nickname Verstappen, that came because of his conduct. That came because of his track record as to the number of collisions he's had. The reason those collisions, he's not having them at the moment, is because he's in a car that is that much faster that nobody even bothers challenging him, really. Nobody, everyone's like, this car's just going to blitz past me. There's no point. And that's what happens. So we've seen that for the past 2 seasons. We saw in 2021, well, as soon as things were wheel to wheel, What did he do? Ran Lewis Hamilton off the track 5 times. Brake tested him. You know, had the collision with him in Italy. Had the collision with Lewis Hamilton at Silverstone. You know, you can't keep it clean. Can't go wheel to wheel racing with somebody and keep it clean. So, you know, it's not luck, but that's why Verstappen is what he is. Oh, here we go, Chasman. Some important context with the video that is referenced here. It was published in March 2020 about things that have been happening since 2018 within F1, its marketing and digital departments. This does not include the sporting side of F1 rules and regs, nor does it include external operators' digital strategies, such as Sky. Thanks for that, Jasmine. Are you sure? Do you know that that's what it doesn't include and hasn't been incorporated in? Do you? Or is just this your opinion? Okay. Have you actually watched that video? Have you looked at the things that are being spoken about? And have you then gone, oh, well, we can actually see elements of that within decision making within Formula One, within what we're actually seeing going on in Formula One? Oh, there's clear links here. Well, because I'll go through that video and I'll show you what them links clearly are. But you, Chasman, as always, will always like to put the counter argument in the comment section to say, oh, you're wrong in presenting this. You're wrong in presenting this. I'm offended by the way you presented that. You are being like this to a certain group of people. This is the sort of prick that you are, Chasman. All right? This is the type of person that just like, oh, well, I agree that at Abu Dhabi the rules are broken, but I think that you're still wrong. All right, mate, jog on. Why not all, brother? Well, you know what? Why not all? They are corrupt, they are incompetent, and they are racist. So you are quite right. Yeah, it is all three. The BBC are corrupt, they are racist, and they are incompetent. Bro doesn't understand why commentators find a driver going from 5th to 2nd is more impressive than a driver going from 4th to 3rd. Ha 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 ha. Delusional nonsense as per usual. Okay. Thanks for that, Johnny Favourite. So, as I demonstrated, Lewis Hamilton went round the outside of the car in front of him. Lando Norris did the same manoeuvre. They then found themselves at that first corner of the track. Lando Norris was on the inside of the track. Lewis Hamilton was on the outside of the track. Okay? The car that was actually directly in front of effectively Lando Norris's side of the grid was already out of the race. Lewis Hamilton's side of the grid was Max Verstappen. So effectively they're both done the same thing. They've both gone around the outside respectively of the car that was in front, and then they're side by side with each other, and Norris has got the inside line. So one's done something that's amazing, and the other, oh, let's hope that he has the same luck next time. It's all about context. Here we go. This one here. ER32K. You should seek real help, dude. Not the YouTube help from Doc Snipes. Oh, dude, you're so lost. Okay. The irony is, this resident troll doesn't understand when, you know, I might look at other YouTube videos. I might seek to educate myself about certain things in life that I feel I need to educate myself due to whatever it is I might want to be dealing with in life. So, the context of which you've got no idea. But what you like to do, ER32K, is you like to go, ha ha, you're looking at some of the videos, ha ha, ha ha, Ha ha. And so, who do I educate myself with? A professional. Somebody that has got professional qualifications, that is presenting, that I look at what they present, I assess the validity of it, and I value it. If it makes sense, if it resonates, if you can extrapolate what they're saying and translate that to real life examples to assess the authenticity of what they're saying, then it's useful information. What do you do when you watch YouTube videos ER32K? Maybe you should watch some of those videos yourself, but the trouble is, some of the things that YouTuber talks about, the types of people that they're talking about, won't be able to identify certain traits within themselves. This is the world we live in. Anyway, that's this video. We'll go on to part 3. Again, people appreciating the manner in which I'm talking about these things. Thanks for the support, everybody that is messaging that. I do appreciate it. Like I say, what I think is important is that there's many of us that see things for what they are, and we're living in a world which we are being presented with a false narrative on lots of things, and this is one of them false narratives, and this is one of them things that I know what I know about this sport. I know what I can see about what was wrong, and therefore I want to try and demonstrate that in as simplistic manner as possible to enable as many other people to see it as possible. Because as soon as people start seeing where they have been lied to, hopefully it will wake them up to understanding the other aspects of life where they're being lied to too. Because if we don't do anything, we're going to be subjected to this same set of media narratives in everything else that crops up in our lives. And some of them things will really impact our lives. You need to actually realize that things impact our lives. The way that things happen in life impact us. The cost of living impacts us. What is causing the cost of living to be what it is? Well, last winter, when the energy prices, the cost of heating and electricity in your house went through the roof in the UK. They told you, oh, it's due to the war in the Ukraine. They told you, oh, it's due to Brexit. They told you, oh, it's due to a global shortage of supply. The energy companies all made record profits, billions of record profits. There will be government ministers who are on the boards of these energy companies, who've got shares in these energy companies. They gave taxpayers money, £400 of taxpayers' money to each household, so that these households didn't, could soften the blow of the price increases. We as a government, we're going to give you £400 for you to give that money to the energy companies, so that them energy companies can make all that extra profit. That's nice. Okay? Were any of them reasons that they gave you the truth? And then when it comes to essential services in society, such as healthcare and such as education, say, oh, nurses are going on strike. They're asking for a pay rise. You won't get that pay rise. Look at them, they're being greedy. Look at teachers. They're asking for a pay rise. They're going on strike. They're making you have to take the day off work to look after your kids because the teachers are on strike. You won't get that. So they turn people against each other. Look at the narrative. Where does the money go? The money that is taxpayers' money that's there to pay for public services, essential public services. Where's it gone? Who's become billionaires out of it? When you start seeing all of the bullshit, and this is just like one example of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and there's people that are far more intelligent than me that can articulate all these things in a far better manner than I can. But you've just got to look at the simplicity of it all. Okay, there's a narrative that we're being fed here. Okay, a narrative, and we have to make this narrative be seen by so many people. And the more we do, okay, the more difficult that these people that are in charge of the system, the matrix, those that are conditioning the minds of people, the more difficult it makes it for them to be able to do that. So we've got to keep going, got to keep trying. We've got this person again that likes to contest everything that I say. Oh, what happens with Formula One about the other teams catching up? Oh, this person clearly hasn't looked at the season. He's gone back to 1952, right? All right, whatever, mate. Okay, you might know about what happened in 1952. I don't. But he's given examples of more recent seasons. So I'll just go through the Wikipedia pages of these, because some people like to jump up in the comment section to disprove what I'm saying. So what I was saying is we were witnessing this season something that's really strange, is that Red Bull has pretty much won every event, and Max Verstappen has pretty much won every event. So you look down that list, the only non-Red Bull victory was Singapore, and Carlos Sainz won that race. That was an anomaly. That was strange. Why was a Red Bull car didn't look anywhere near what it performed like at every other race? And they can go, oh, it's not suited to this track. Bollocks. Okay, because at every other track, that car will pull out down a straight and be 30 kilometers faster than the other cars, right? It didn't do that in Singapore. Why? You can't tell me that, oh, over in Singapore, it just doesn't have the same power. Well, there's a straight road, right? It's got the same sort of power and the same ability to, you've got a straight and that car will just be faster than everything else down the straight. It couldn't do that. It was getting stuck in DRS trains in Singapore. Where else in the whole calendar did that Red Bull car ever get stuck in a DRS train? Well, it didn't, did it? So what was going on in Singapore? Somebody had turned the wick down on that power output, or something was going on there, right? Other than Max Verstappen, you got Sergio Perez has won 2 races. So I was contrasting that with this season, whereby if you look at the first 7 races of the season, Jenson Button, Sebastian Vettel, but then we've got Jenson Button. This is when the Brawn car had that, I think it was the F duct, I think, or rear wing, or some design that the other teams didn't have, and Button was winning, and we didn't get the narrative. Oh, you're seeing one of the greatest ever Formula One drivers. No, we weren't being told that about Jenson Button, okay? We were just told, oh, well, that Brawn car's got a different aerodynamic thing on its car than the rest of the cars, and that's clearly giving it that. Because, again, prior to this, for Jenson Button's career, we'd not seen him set the world alight. Because you know what? Prior to this, with Max Verstappen's career, we'd not seen him set the world alight, really, had we? Right? Until he got the fastest car. Right? But what then happens is, oh, the other teams have developed their cars and made their cars faster, and all of a sudden, oh, Jenson Button's no longer the best driver we've ever seen, because other drivers have now got competitive cars and other drivers are now beating him. That's how this shit works in Formula One. Okay? But we've got somebody in the comments section that wants to prove me wrong, as always. You know, I'm wrong. So he gives various examples. Here's one example. So we've got these drivers here. So we've got Bottas, we've got Hamilton, we've got Max Verstappen, we've got Charles Leclerc, we've got Sebastian Vettel. So, and Max Verstappen. These are the drivers that have won in that season. One of the seasons that he... So this one is the 2019, which is one of the ones that he comes up with as examples. We've got 3 drivers that have won Grand Prix this season. Okay? So, Bottas, Hamilton, Verstappen, Leclerc, Vettel. There's 5 drivers there. And we've got Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, 3 different constructors. So, you know, this is not the same sort of season as we're seeing this year, is it? Then another one of the seasons, one of the Mercedes dominated seasons. Okay? but 2 of the races were won by Red Bull. We've got Daniel Ricciardo has won a few races there. Look at the Australian flag. Oh, sorry, we've got just one in that season, sorry. But we've got Max Verstappen has won a race here. Are we seeing one of the Mercedes drivers win pretty much all the races? Or is there an even spread? Lewis Hamilton, or we've got the German flag of Nico Rosberg. Okay? Is one driver blitzing the whole thing, or is there even competition between the 2 drivers within the team? Simple. The answer is there in front of you. There's competition between the 2 drivers in the same team. Do you see that Union Jack flag there pretty much on every race win of the season, the same way you're seeing it from Max Verstappen? That's not normal. Okay? That's not because of how brilliant he is. Okay? That's because there's a car that's clearly dominant and there's a difference in performance between him and his teammate. That's not normal. Okay? It's not normal. Then we've got another season. So this is one of the other ones that he quotes, 2015. You look at that. Yes, Mercedes dominate, but we've got Ferrari have won 3 races. We've got who has won the races between Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton? Is there a fairly even spread of people who have won the races? The German flag you see there is Sebastian Vettel. So actually, within the race winners, look at the Italian flag for the constructor there. Okay, but there are 3 of those German flags for the race winners being Sebastian Vettel. The others are Nico Rosberg. And then you've got Lewis Hamilton. So it's not just one dominating all of the time. Another of the seasons he gives as an example, 2014, you've got Mercedes, you've got Red Bull winning. So, okay, there's only 3 race victories. So it's still Mercedes dominated. But again, look within the domination. Lewis Hamilton's won a lot, but you've still got Nico Rosberg, Nico Rosberg, Nico Rosberg, Nico Rosberg, Nico Rosberg. You've got Daniel Ricciardo, Daniel Ricciardo, Daniel Ricciardo. Are we seeing that this year? You're seeing Max Verstappen. You've got Perez, Sainz. Right? 20 races, 17 of them by the same driver. That's not normal. There's clearly a discrepancy with the performance of that single car. And then you go to this one, which is another example of what they gave us a season. The second half of the season, Red Bull are dominating. But up to that, you've got Raikkonen, Vettel, Alonso, Vettel, Alonso, Rosberg, Vettel, Rosberg, Vettel, Hamilton. That's how they, and he's trying to tell me, oh, this is, I'm totally wrong in what I'm saying, because of these are the examples I can prove you to be totally wrong with. What are you proving? What are you proving? Okay? But you have to jump up in the comment section. You have to go, ha ha, look, I can prove you wrong. And really, you're not really, are you? Okay? You're not. Because what I'm trying to say to you is, look at what's happening in 2023. Okay? Look at this dominance. When we've seen this level of dominance before, we've not seen it to this extent. We've not seen it from just one driver. And often, when we do, we get the other teams looking at that dominance and being able to play catch up. Now, in the same way that the Brawn Mercedes started off with an advantage and the other teams then worked it out, how come the other teams haven't worked it out with ground effect? What's going on there? How come that was what the case was in 2022 and how come it's the same in 2023? When Red Bull supposedly have a wind tunnel restriction this year, which means they can't develop as much because they've not got the aerodynamic time that the other teams have got. But they're still streaks ahead. Oh, it's because Nui's a genius. Okay. Okay. The only legal question. Yeah, that's Yeri again. Yeri. Every video we have to get the same hatred, the same hate. Love the fact you reiterate 8 times world champion. Well, he is an 8-time world champion. Absolutely an 8-time world champion. Okay. Again, there's so much of this that we could go into. We could evidence all the lies and all the style of language used in the way that they talk about Lewis Hamilton. There's not enough hours in the day, unfortunately, but I would love to do far more than I do, but it's just having the time to put it all together. Racism, it's baked into the cake. You know what? Sadly, it is. Sadly, it is. And if I'd have gone back a few years ago, I probably wouldn't have realised it. I wouldn't have realised it. But now when I go back and look at the races, when I look at the language used, the manner that they talk about things, it's pretty damn clear what's going on. And as a white guy, I'm embarrassed because the racism is being perpetrated by white people. Pretty fucking disgusting. The way I see it, though, is actually it's a lot of it is being perpetrated by wealthy people, and that's not to say that there's a lot of white people that aren't racist. Bollocks. There's a lot of racism that exists, but a lot of things that go on in this world, it's wealthy people that are in control of them, and they make their decisions to benefit themselves. And if that involves causing divide for their benefit, then they do so. And divide does benefit them. So I think if you look at the root cause of a lot of things, wealth has a lot to do with it. But like I say, I try and judge every individual as I find them, and try and I've always found in life that nationality, skin colour, creed, religion does not determine the caliber of a human being. So I don't judge people by that. I judge people by who they are, how good they are as a person. And I think if everybody in the world was capable of doing that, we'd be a better place. There's a pile of turds on this channel, and my guess is that they're generally white. So there you go. I would suggest all these people that are trolls, there's a good guess that they are white males. Anyway, you're on point with this video. Appreciate the support. Ultimately, we have the power. Ultimately, unfortunately, we don't. Okay, because if we're serious and stop supporting them, it hurts them most. Yes, it will, but unfortunately, the problem is this: if they've got 10 million followers and 1,000 of us know that they're full of shit and we stop watching them, they don't care. Okay, because it's not harming them enough. The only way it harms them is if all 10 million stop following them. And the only way all 10 million stop following them is if them 10 million realise they're being lied to. So we're the ones that have to get it out there to expose to these people, you are being lied to. You're being fed a pile of shit. And until you can wake up to that, then you're going to continue eating that shit. You're going to continue feeding their whole system. They're going to continue making the money, perpetrating their crimes, being happy, making you think that you're watching something that should be exciting, that you should buy into. And that's what they'll do. People will continue doing it until they're made aware. So, you know, we can't just switch off. We have to campaign. Because switching off, actually, whilst you might be content that you think, okay, this is me, this is my life, and I'm not going to feed that bullshit. Okay, I'm going to switch off from it. I'm not going to engage with that. So therefore they don't benefit from me. Fine. But actually, it doesn't impact them that much. If you want to truly make an impact, you have to start waking other people up so that more and more and more people become aware of it. That's the only way you're going to get a change. Both, they're not incompetent. Well, yeah, they are corrupt and they are racist, but I also think they're incompetent as well. They're all three. George eats tyres for breakfast. Yeah, but he likes to tell everybody, I'm faster than Lewis, I'm faster than Lewis. Tell Lewis to let me by. He's holding me up. All right, George, thanks for that. Let's work as a team. Cock. This David CP is a sausage. I look forward to 2 more years of rage because Lewis can't win without the best car. Okay. I look forward to 2 more years of rage because Lewis can't win without the best car. So, David, talk us through all of Max Verstappen's championships that he won prior to 2022 when the Red Bull was clearly the best car. Oh, you want to talk us through 2021, that one where they cheated and he got gifted it, yeah? You want to cite that one. So all the other previous years, Max Verstappen, when he didn't have the best car, won how many championships? And then in 2021, he got given one. And then in 2022 and 2023, he's got this car that's outperforming everything. All right? But we'll talk you through Lewis Hamilton's championships, the ones where they went down to the last race of the season and it was up against a Ferrari that would have won. So which was the best car if it went down to the last race of the season? Would they be fairly evenly matched, you think? And Hamilton won one? Okay. Thanks for your valuable insight, David. That was just one example. We could go through more. Okay. We could go through his first season in the sport where he should have been world champion and had his team made better decisions. And again, it makes you wonder whether it's contrived or not. Okay. Because that first season as a rookie, Lewis Hamilton could have been world champion. And who was world champion? It was a Ferrari. So, this is the way it goes, isn't it? Again, thanks for support. F1 is not about Hamilton alone, so you are so clueless. All right, Dolph. I know I'm so clueless, and I know I'm the one that doesn't know what I'm talking about, Dolph. And you are the intelligent one with all the qualifications. And you have a right to ridicule me and say, "Ha ha, I don't know what I'm talking about," because you do, Dolph. So, F1 is not about Hamilton alone. You are so clueless. Fine, okay. I'll say this though, Dolph. Formula One will dread the day where Lewis Hamilton leaves the sport. Because when Lewis Hamilton leaves the sport, there will be a lot of interest that leaves the sport too. And if you then see what then happens to the value of Formula One after Lewis Hamilton leaves the sport, you'll see it's not be good for Formula One. So all you'll get left in Formula One is what? You might get a grandstand with a section of fans wearing orange t-shirts. What else is going to be left? Well, you'll get the thick people that still think they're watching something authentic, or you'll get the kids that are swept along with the glitz and the glamour, and they like the expensive brands and think they're seeing something authentic. But actually, when people start waking up, people will see that it's just bullshit. It's all bullshit. But no doubt you'll enjoy it. Anyway, hopefully that's responded to a few of the comments in terms of thanking people for their support. I do appreciate it. I know I've not mentioned everybody. I've not spoken about everything, but I do appreciate the support. I appreciate the ones, the people that we all know what we know what's going on. We've got the understanding of how things are being manipulated and what the message is being given by the media, and what is coming here on this channel and giving it bullshit. There is a reason why I don't just delete them, and I'm going to go into that as well. But it's all part of a longer term thing with this. Thanks for your time. And yeah, hopefully produce something else of a bit more going back to Abu Dhabi. Well, I've got lots more to present, actually exposing the nuts and bolts of Abu Dhabi. So I'll get back into that as soon as I can. Thanks for your time. Cheers.